It's such an honor and a privilege for me to be here tonight with Shannon to present the Gridiron Greats 2014 Woman of the Year Award. I'm the widow of Terry Owens, who played for the San Diego Chargers from 1966 to 1975. And we lost him about 18 months ago from complications from his dementia. And I just can't express how grateful I am for the 88 plan and for Sylvia, because without her efforts and her love of the players and her passion, the 88 plan would not have come to fruition. And what a blessing it was to us in our time of need. We weren't ready to retire. And the 88 plan pretty much saved us from financial ruin. The plan afforded me to keep Terry at home and to get the medical equipment and supplies and caregiver help that I needed to properly care for him and provide him the best quality of life I could in his last final years. And that's one of the options with the 88 plan, to keep the player at home where a wife or a caregiver can take care of them, or to have them taken care of in a facility. And because my husband didn't exhibit aggressive behavior, I chose to keep him at home. And it was a lot of work. It was probably the hardest thing that I've ever done. But it was comforting in a strange way. I was honored and felt privileged to be able to keep him at home and to take care of him. I grew to love him more each day. Sylvia's efforts in the plan allowed me to not worry so much about finances and to focus on Terry's care and his quality of life. So on behalf of myself and the other wives and warriors and caregivers and those who love our men with brain issues, I'd like to say thank you, and I'm so grateful and so thankful, and am honored to present this award to you, Sylvia.
Oh my gosh, what do I say? Thank you so much for this treasured, distinguished, and special honor from Gridiron Greats. When Shannon called me to tell me that Gridiron Greats had selected me as their Woman of the Year, I was overwhelmed, but oh so humbled. But now, seeing all of you here to share this special moment with me makes me know just how special it is, and I'm feeling a bit more comfortable with it. I'm still overwhelmed, but I thank you for sharing this moment. Now, I ask myself, where did this all begin? I actually can say it started with my husband, who, when he saw that something was wrong in the league, when something had to be overwhelmed or overhauled or changed, see, I'm still overwhelmed, overhauled or changed, he would always say, well, somebody's got to do it. So when John was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia, one thing I wanted to do was to really keep him happy and active in any and everything he wanted to do. And his happiest moments were going to the Super Bowl every year, but even happier than that was to go back to the Hall of Fame festivities in Canton every August. And it was here, because I didn't try to hide what was wrong with John. I wanted people to know. But it was here that I saw so many players already diagnosed with Alzheimer's or dementia, ALS, and Parkinson's. And I thought, there's something wrong with this picture. Because not only did I see the players diagnosed already with these diseases, I could tell when another wife would approach me, I could tell from her body language that she was going to ask me questions about what did I see in my husband that led me to his diagnosis. And I knew what was behind those questions. They were wondering, what their husbands were doing, what strange behaviors they might have seen in their husbands that they wanted to know, should I have him diagnosed? Is there something wrong? So it was like I could relate to where they were coming from and the feelings that they were having, and I didn't want them to be embarrassed about their asking me. So finally I said, something is so wrong with this picture that I wonder how many people know 10 people who have Alzheimer's, dementia, ALS, or Parkinson's, who all had the same career in their 20s. There's a common denominator here. And these are great players in this small group of the NFL. They are legends. Okay, so how many others of the retired players out there must be stricken with these diseases? Because they are all famous players and all legends, whether they are Hall of Famers or not. They are the foundation of the league. And these mind-devastating and horrifying diseases will wipe out a family financially and mentally. Unfortunately, I have to say financially in this country, but that's another ball game. So, but prior to this whole ugly picture that I saw, I realized now that I needed to write to Paul Tagliabue to tell him what was going on. That was his year to retire, and one of the facts that stood out in my mind was the fact that during the time that John passed, within 1 year, of 6 Hall of Famers, 5 of those Hall of Famers were on the 88 plan. Now, if that doesn't send a message, I don't know what does. So Paul came through with me after I talked to Roger and my friend Joe Brown, and we established the 88 plan for Alzheimer's, dementia, ALS, and Parkinson's. Then, after this, August 4th, now my husband passed away July 6, 2011. August 4th, the CBA comes out with a legacy benefit for beneficiaries and retired players, which would add monthly income to the pension plan. And if your husband was taken away from you before August 4th, we were not going to get the benefit. I said, this is absolutely wrong. How can you leave out, because of a date, something that the Almighty has done, and you have nothing to do with that? They're still legends. They're still the same players with the same reputations and helping to establish the league that is as great as it is. And I pleaded with Roger Goodell, who agreed with me about how wrong this was. And then I had an opportunity to speak at an NFLPA convention in Florida. And I said, this is wrong and this must be changed. I said, there was a time when Jim Crow laws were legal. There was a time when women could not vote. And they said that couldn't be changed. And there was a time when interracial marriages were illegal. And they said that could not change. Leaving out these NFL widows and the beneficiaries were wrong, and it had to be changed. So I wrote a letter to one of the owners. I talked with Roger again. I sent many emails to the NFLPA. 1 year later, that did change because it had to. All 319 widows and beneficiaries and I received our retroactive checks for the legacy benefits. The owners had put in 51%, and the NFLPA, after much pleading and pulling, finally put in their 49%. So no matter what it took, I say thank you to all of them. And then mainly today, I say thank you to Gridiron Greats for this very distinguished award. And I want to take this opportunity to thank Coach Mike for opening the door for the tight ends to go into the Hall of Fame. Thank you. Thank you. The day after Mike went into the Hall of Fame in 1988, and John liked that too, that it was 88, his number, going over into 89, your number. Mike was on the Today Show, and I'll never forget when they asked Mike questions about his election into the Hall of Fame. Mike said, I don't know how I got here before John Mackey. And John Mackey just sat right up in bed, because that was early in the morning, and he just said, because Mike, you are the #1. Let's face it, okay? And the rest of what he said, I told Mike. All right. So thank you, Mike, for opening that door. I thank the Hall of Fame dinner this evening, the organization of Gridiron Greats, for all they did for my family when we were facing this devastating disease. As I humbly accept the award, I really want to try to carry on the mission of my husband. This is really, really for him. And yes, I have lost the love of my life, but I have not lost the life in the love that I have for him and his legacy. Thank you so much for sharing this moment with me. Thank you. Thank you so much.